Thanks, Chair, and thanks also for allowing us to join online. Apologies for not being able to be there in person, and Andrea and I hope we will have future opportunities. I'm going to start presenting and then leave the floor to Andrea for the last 5 minutes. First of all, where this idea of comparing Kelsen and Scalia come from? We have witnessed a growing interest in Europe for originalism, testified by countless studies on the topic and by constitutional court judges themselves mentioning the importance, the need to understand the originalist debate in the US and especially its relationship with textualism. We thought this interest was worth exploring, and because we thought that this interest actually magnifies a problem that the US and Europe, the European Union in particular, have in common, which is the socio-legal polarization on contentious issues and the devolution of those issues to the judiciary to be solved. We have identified 3 reasons why we think this is happening, and we thought that all those reasons are relevant to understand to what extent originalism has been detected, has been identified as a possible solution to European problems, especially the problems the European Union is going through in this particular historical moment, and also to understand what are the chances of originalism to persuade European judges and European scholars. The first reason is that the European Union as a project developed mainly through judicial line, as it's quite common for many constituent projects. Why this has happened? Because the European Union was a politically incomplete project that lacked a foundational myth, something like what the US have with the Constitution, and the project needed to be shielded from the volatility of national politics. The second reason is the success of the theories of living constitutionalism. And this success easily followed from the judicial development at the European level. And this was encapsulated especially by the European Court of Human Rights doctrine of the living instrument. Now, these 2 historical developments, they were to some extent contingent to the European problems in the last 30 years, resulted in a considerable shift within the civil law tradition of codified law. And by this considerable shift that in the paper we have named a revolution, we mean the shift from a legal culture that cherished text and structure as the method of interpretation, if you wish, the systematic interpretation or the structural interpretation of the law, to the absolute dominance of interpretive methodologies that are largely inspired by some forms of positivism and that are aimed at detecting the meaning of the law serving the best today's social needs. Now, all those historical movements resulting in this shift within the civil law tradition had the effect of reducing the space for political deliberation by actually enlarging what the Constitution was interpreted to say, and at the same time they politicized the judiciary. And this is where the comparison between Kelsen and Scalia comes from. And I leave the floor to Andrea for rest.
Thank you. And good morning, everyone. So I'll cut to the chase. And I think Graziella told us enough about the situation we are facing with at the moment in Europe. Now I will switch to why what we know of Scalia, and of course we are not lecturing you on Scalia, why we think Scalia and Scalia's interests somehow resurrect some aspects of Kelsen's thought. So I will focus on some bullet points about legal formalism as Scalia and as Kelsen understands it. 3 main points. 1, law is predominantly understood as an order. So rules do not play a special role because of what they say, because of the contents, but because of the place within which they are located in a certain legal system. So constitutions come first because they are constitutions, not because of values they are embedded within the constitution themselves. Second, law is not sociology. Legal methodology is not a sociological methodology. They are two words apart. And the judiciary has just a limited scope. So judiciary does have some discretion. And this is actually one of the differentiating factors between Scalia and originalism, as we understand it to be, and Kelsen. Kelsen believes that judges do have some discretion, but he does not believe that judges should have some discretion, just believes that, as a matter of fact, judges enjoy some discretion. So he's very attentive in not giving too much weight to that. So coming to the final points, because we are more interested in what you think than what we are saying. We take that. You all know what we mean to convey through our paper. Are we becoming originalists or textualists in Europe? So the answer is, I'm sorry, no, we aren't. For 2 main reasons. Judges do have discretion, and that is also within the mind of one of the biggest formalists that Europe has known in several decades. Second, we have codes, and codes require that we understand words and meanings in different way than just the meaning of words of specific statutes. But there are several assonances, and we would like to emphasize them as a conclusionary remarks. First, legal science is neutral. Being a legal scientist is not being a partisan. Legal science has a role in distilling meanings of laws and putting them together, but it does not play any partisan role. Second, judges are constrained by the place is accorded to them. Third, sociology has no place in legal reasoning. And the political process is entrusted to make the law evolve, not the judiciary. So I will stop here because I think this encapsulates the main reasons for which we conceived the paper, and we would like to know more about your thoughts. And we're very thankful of your hospitality, even though only remotely, but it's our bet. Thank you so much.